I just think hard work, it's like you can have as much natural athletic ability, but if you don't put in the work, it's not going to go anywhere.
Hi, everybody. It's Alana and Milano, and this is Bare Naked Moms. Well, I have a 13-year-old daughter. She is rarely excited about anyone we have coming on our little pod, but when she heard who was coming today, she was very pumped.
The Humphrey sisters, Chloe, Ashley, and Nicole, captured the sports world's attention big time when they joined forces to lead the University of North Carolina Chapel Hill's women's lacrosse team to an undefeated season and a national championship last spring. Not only did they do that unbelievable, crazy thing of national championship and undefeated season, but they had done it after recovering from pretty intense injuries and also just being across the country from one another. Two were at different schools in California, USC and Stanford, while the other one was at Chapel Hill. And they all wanted, even though they were at different academic stages and athletic stages in their journeys, they all wanted to come back together again to be on the same team for one last special unicorn season. Talk about a Hollywood ending.
Yeah, and here at Bare Naked Moms, we had to meet the mom behind the magic. Did a little stalking, to be honest with you. And we're delighted when lovely Sarah Humphrey agreed to join us for a chat. We had so many questions. Was sibling rivalry ever a thing? How could it not have been? And get this, there is a fourth Humphrey child, a boy named Brett. The girls have a little brother. Did he ever feel left out? How could he not have?
Without further ado, please enjoy our conversation with lacrosse superstar mom and momager, Sarah Humphrey.
So Sarah, as I wrote to you, my daughter, my middle child, came home one day this summer just all aglow from one of her lacrosse tournaments. And she was like, Mom, I met Nicole Humphrey. And she was so nice. And she took a picture with me and she printed the photo and it's her room. And one of the things that I've been reflecting on as we were getting ready to talk to you is just how these days with social media, there's, a whole new brand of celebrity for these kids like your daughters who are star athletes, have done amazing things, but maybe in your day and age and Milano and mine, they wouldn't have been known nationwide. And I'm wondering what that's been like for you as a mom to watch your daughters be so widely known and celebrated.
I mean, there has really been tremendous growth since Nicole started, because she's now 25. The sport has just exploded. And, back when she started, there wasn't even really much on the internet. There was hardly any film. Games weren't being filmed and broadcast. And it was hard to even find a way to get better. There weren't these tutorial videos all over the place. And everything has really drastically changed. They had players that they liked, but you had to go to a game to watch them play, and so now, it's a whole new level. We go through the airport and Chloe's getting stopped left and right for pictures. I'm like, we're in Texas. Like how do people know you here?
Yeah.
It's really taken a national stage now.
And has it been mostly a good experience for the girls?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so grateful for anyone who will pay attention and, are fans. They love it and they appreciate it.
I love this story, Sarah, your family story and the girl's story, because it's windy. It, has some spikes and dips and it's just not a straight line, especially with Nicole, your oldest. She played middle school lacrosse on the B team. She was more interested in gymnastics and she was just sort of like,
and she was perfectly happy on the B team.
She was perfectly happy on the B team. And then,
by the way, I feel like a whole other conversation could be like the power of the B team. Like B team sports can also be an amazing experience. Anyway, but carry on.
Oh my gosh, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying you would not look at one of the Humphrey girls and say that, or assume that any one of them was on the B team ever in their life. Right. So that was seventh grade. when she was on the B team, like, were you like, oh man, she's on the B team? Like, what were you worried about her? Like,
No. Okay. So here's the deal. She was a level 8 gymnast. She was really, really good. And we kind of thought, great, that's her sport, and we're going to ride that to college and whatever. And she just kind of did lacrosse on the side because all of her friends did. But she wasn't allowed to be on the travel team because of her sport. You had to declare it as your first and favorite sport that, in order to do that. So she wasn't eligible to even really try out for the top team.
because of gymnastics.
Because of gymnastics.
Okay.
Right. So if she had a meet or something, we had to miss lacrosse practice for that. And like, they don't allow that in Darien. You have to say, this is my primary sport and I'll be at every game, every practice. It's such a commitment. But then the summer came and she just started playing so well. And a gentleman pulled her out of the B team in Darien and was like, no, this isn't right. And like pulled her up and got them. Maybe I'm butchering this story, but I think they pulled her off the B team. He did something with her.
Mm-hmm. Somebody took an interest in her, as I recall.
Someone took an interest in her.
Someone said,
"This is like, you don't belong here.
This looks like an amazing athlete who I can work with."
Yeah. So that's when she made the transition. The gymnastics was kind of getting really demanding for her and scary. The tricks they were doing, it starts to get really scary for level 8 and 9. So yeah, she kind of went the path of least resistance in this town anyway, which was to just go play lacrosse. And the hours were better and it just seemed a lot less grueling. But, she left gymnastics with an incredible work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that she has kind of shown her sisters how you put in hard work and get results, and that came from the gymnastics part of it.
So you credit gymnastics with that quality.
I think so, yeah, I do.
It gives me hope because it's not that I need any of my kids to be on a sports track, but just that, that click can happen, in the 7th grade or the 8th grade. It doesn't have to be like kindergarten or 1st grade or, picking a lane so seriously, even by 5th. It feels like, oh my gosh, everything is so turbo now.
I know. And I really think it's so great if they can hang on to at least a second sport for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I think just you learn different things from different sports. All the sports help somehow.
Yeah.
But if it's not about starting so early in that training, what is it about? Like trusting the process?
I think it's great if you start early, but I think you absolutely can play catch up if you start late. And I think the secret ingredient is your stick, developing your stick and hitting the wall. And, what I tell people is, like, even if your kid isn't the most athletic or doesn't necessarily have the highest lacrosse IQ because they haven't been playing for a long time, if you have a really solid stick and you can catch any pass and you can shoot on the goal, you're going to play.
That's a lot right there, right?
So, and that is in their control completely. If you're hitting the wall and doing all the wall ball routines that you can pull offline and Chloe posts them and everyone at Charlotte North posts them, not hard to find. And if you put in the time to make your stick solid, you're going to play.
But how does that translate to other sports? I'm just thinking about listeners who have kids in soccer or basketball, ice hockey. Is there anything that isn't just specific to like lacrosse stick that...
Like an emphasis on the fundamentals, right? In any sport.
In any...
Repetition, right? It's muscle memory. You got to put it in.
Okay.
Especially like tennis, golf.
Yeah.
Basketball, you got to be shooting. You can't just wake up and think you're going to hit all those 3-pointers.
Yeah. I love how you and your husband have talked about how, athleticism is in the girls' genes. Like they worked really hard. And also you were an amazing lacrosse player at Dartmouth. Do I have that right?
Mm-hmm.
I played. I don't know that I'd say amazing.
Okay. You played for Dartmouth and your husband, was a kind of a legendary basketball player at Middlebury. So, you can't teach athleticism. There's nothing we can share with our listeners about that, genes and genetics. But what would you say to people about, values in your home over the years as you were raising the kids? Like now that you have the benefit of hindsight that you think really helped them along in addition to their athleticism?
Okay, well, there's 2 points. Let's go back to what you were saying about the athleticism. I think, each of my kids has a different type of athleticism. You have to identify, does your kid have good hands, good feet, good speed? Like, what do they have? And then focus on that. It's like Nicole had great speed. So we were like, be a midi and be in the sickest shape of all the middies and do that, and Ashley had great hands. So she was the one who was always doing tricks and one-handed this, one-handed that, and Chloe is slippery. So, it's like, you got to find the one thing or not the one thing, the strength, whatever, even if they're not a great athlete, there's something they're probably better at than others, and have them really work on that one area to make it the best it can be.
Yeah. Work with what you have as opposed to what you want, like you dream to be.
Right. And then the other thing that I would say, the second part of that would be coachability, which is a really interesting topic. Because I think in this day and age, a lot of these kids aren't very coachable. They hear what the coach says that they should do, but they don't make the adjustment. Because how else do you get better? Right? You just keep doing the same thing you're doing. And you could probably, all think of a kid on one of your kids' teams where it's like, oh, there goes Susie again. Watch this. She's going to do the same thing she does every time, and throws it into the goalie stick. And it's like, it drives you crazy. People don't make adjustments.
Yeah, it's like if you're putting in the work, you might as well put the work in the right way.
Right. Get it right. So I would definitely talk to your kids a lot about
coachability.
Making the changes. When the coach tells you to do something, do you immediately do it and show them you're listening, you're trying?
Yeah.
You talk about the girls being different athletes, of course, different people. Were there moments where, competitions in your own house got tricky and you had to kind of develop an approach towards, good old fashioned sibling rivalry?
The only time we really had trouble with the competitiveness is when they played one-on-one in the backyard, because somebody would get their hands checked or their face checked or, so we had to stop that pretty early, that wasn't going to be what we were going to do out there. But other than that, I really fostered them being supportive of each other, and I would make them go to each other's games and sit on the sideline and cheer for them. And, I really tried to make it like, we're the family that we go and watch each other and we're going to be supportive. It's not just like you're done with your game, you can go home. Like, no, you're going to come and watch Ashley and then we're going to go watch Chloe. And
Yeah, I think that really resonates with me. I don't do that enough.
I don't either. I think, oh, well, your sister has a game. Why don't you do your homework, or, it's your time that you're
like
not
divide
on the
and
field,
conquer.
that you rest or whatever.
But that makes a lot of sense to me. That it's like important for them to like go sit and watch their sibling.
I know. It is.
Yeah. And I think it helped the camaraderie. And then, when they came off the field, then Nicole could say to Ashley, like, oh, did you see Susie's crazy shot? That was so awesome. Or did you see so-and-so drop that ball? Oh, wow. So they were always kind of in it together. Even if they weren't on the field together, they were living the experience together.
Also, I don't know. I mean, I know you're a tennis player. I'm a tennis player. You're a tennis player too. When the match is over, and you, so often I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go do this. And, like my every minute is spoken for. But when I actually do stay and watch another match that's continuing beyond mine, I get so much out of watching other people play. I mean, of course, like we all go to the US Open and we watch professional tennis on TV.
But other people who are like on your level.
More sort of sports peers. I'm like, oh, yep, I know why you missed that shot, and it's all of a sudden like what you're learning from your coaches in practice is not just like that channel. It's like another channel of connection of like connecting the dots. Does that make sense?
Watching film.
Right.
How to watch film.
Right. Watching
Absolutely
film.
have to watch film. I mean, my Ashley would study film. I mean, I can't even imagine how many hours she spent watching film. Like she just loves the game.
Wow.
And that's why she was a student of it, and could pass the way she does. It's because she watched so many hours of film.
Did she watch herself or like other like teams?
No, not herself.
Yeah. It's hard to watch
anything
yourself.
else she could get her hands on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a passion. Were there ever moments, I feel like a lot of parents, including myself, deal with kids saying, I don't want to do this anymore. Even though you know that there's so much potential there if you could just get them to stick with it, whether
over the hump. Yeah.
Yeah. Were there moments like that for any of the girls where anyone was like, you know what? Enough is enough.
Not in lacrosse.
Okay.
And I think that was mostly a product of the fact that all their friends played lacrosse.
Yeah.
So
network effect.
they all just went together. I felt that way a little bit with Nicole's gymnastics because she was so good. And I was like, oh gosh, we really, you're only on the B team for lacrosse. Are we really giving up this gymnastics
Everything,
where
yeah.
you're doing really well and winning things? But I tried to get her to stick with that and that didn't work. So here we are.
Yeah.
Seemed like it all worked out for you, but the house is suffering. The house has suffered. I want to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, the house has suffered.
Yeah. I mean,
we read an article where you were like, you know what? Like the house was messy, like all good.
Yeah.
We just let them play wherever they wanted to play.
This is what they want. This is
that.
what they do. No, I don't know. I feel like you have a beautiful home. I love my home. Like I spent a lot of time, thinking about like lampshades and not that much time, but like, I love walking in my home and be like, oh, this is lovely. Like, and my 12 and a half year old son, well, actually, I mean, everyone kind of plays some kind of sport, but he's a committed soccer player. So he's in one of these clubs and, there's just always a ball going and it drives me bananas. Do you think there's anyone out there playing a sport at this level, like at the Humphrey girl level, who had a mom saying no balls in the house? Or am I going to like screw my
You're
kids?
holding them back.
Like, am I going to hold my kids' sports careers like back because they had me as a mom?
Well, okay. If they can't do it in the house, then I would say let them do it in the garage.
Okay.
We have a whole,
yeah.
Okay.
We have a whole shooting set up in the garage for Chloe. She's got a bounce back. She's got a goal.
I want to see that. I want to see
hung
her
a big net in front of the window so she can't break the window.
Yeah.
And apparently her accuracy is not very good because we have holes on the wall, all over the walls to the side of it. I don't even know how they get there, but and she's broken every overhead garage opening, light. They're all dangling. And like all the light switches, the little cap over the lights, those are all broken. And so the garage is bad. But inside the house, this isn't going to help you for soccer, but for lacrosse, I gave them the low pressure tennis balls.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like a low.
That's true. You could have like a foamy soccer ball.
Actually, there's an amazing foamy. My brother gave Hank one for his birthday. Basketball, and it really does bounce. Yeah. It really bounces high, but it's foam.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
So this might be one of the solutions to our problems, but that's helpful. But like, so when things break over the years, you're just like, whatever. Like, do you just have like a very low, like a high threshold for house pain?
I mean, not really. I've got these custom lanterns out there with the glass that have to be custom cut. Yeah, no, there's a couple of those out there that still need to be done. So it's not great. However, I'm sure I made it back in scholarship money. So
yeah, there you go.
Okay. Silver linings.
So all of these amazing qualities that the girls have developed and gotten from taking part in sports at such a high level, where do you see them going, in their 20s and 30s, career-wise, with all of these different strengths?
Well, Nicole and Ashley are both in New York City working in finance now. So I think their path is, at least clear at the moment that they're going to be in finance.
Yeah.
And Chloe's in the business school at UNC. So she kind of intended to head to finance as well. Although I think she's going to go sideways and maybe do a few years in the lacrosse coaching and camps and all of that and kind of ride that wave as long as she can.
Yeah, that makes so much sense.
Yeah. But then I think ultimately, she'll end up in finance.
Yeah. So like a Humphrey sister investment firm is like down the road.
Maybe we should think about that.
Yeah.
Are you still involved so much in their lives, like in the lacrosse aspect of their lives?
I am. I'm trying to get out of it, but somehow I keep ending up.
They won't accept your
trying to get fired. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just you have to do you have to do a lesser job. You have to be
make a mistake.
Right.
make some mistakes.
Yeah. I was sending them off to a camp recently where they had some hats that they were going to sign and sell. I was like, great, off you go. And then they stopped and said, wait a minute, Mom, we need you at the table selling it. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
How did I end up spending 3 hours in Long Island sitting at some table with hats? Like,
Yeah.
I got to figure out a better system for this.
More boundaries.
I just realized we have to talk about Brett too.
Yeah, we do have to talk about Brett.
So has there had to have been a focus on your part just in making sure that he doesn't feel left out of all of this stuff?
It's been a challenge for sure. Because we put Brett in a lot of sports to try to figure out which sport was the one for him. And we came up empty. He finally just said, I don't like sports. I don't want to do this. Stop signing me up for things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, okay, fine. We need to figure out something other than computer games then. So what's it going to be? And eventually we landed on, he's involved with the fire department. And then he loved that so much, he became an EMT.
Oh, wow.
So now he's, spending all of his time doing that, his free time, and applying to colleges.
Amazing.
Wow,
so that's his road.
But it's been hard, I think, for him to deal with all of the attention. And every time someone meets him, they say, oh, what sport do you play?
Yeah,
right.
And
like we just did.
like,
First question.
Sorry.
So I feel bad for Brett, but he's found his way and he is so happy and loves it so much. And all the girls go crazy supporting him. And when they hear he's like driving an ambulance, they'll hop in their car and go try to find him to wave at him. And it's so cute.
Yeah. I bet they're really sweet with him.
Yeah.
If we could go back to last year, I think it's so impressive that the girls put so much focus on wanting to come together on the same team for that year. It wasn't like, okay, like I'm going to do my thing at this, other incredibly impressive school. Like there was that real drive to come back together. Am I right?
Yes, it was really interesting because after Nicole won the national championship, she decided to use her COVID year out at USC. She had always dreamed of going to California and kind of felt like, I've done everything I need to accomplish here. Let me go see what the West Coast is about. So she was so excited when she went out there. And before the season even started, she started saying, oh no, I'm getting a lot of FOMO. Like now that I'm seeing Ashley and Chloe together, because when she decided to go to USC, Ashley still hadn't decided to transfer out of Stanford. So all of a sudden, Nicole goes this way and Ashley goes that way. And then it's like, wait a minute, maybe I would have stayed if I knew you were coming. And so she was already feeling a little out of sorts about it, that those two were going to play together without her. And then so weird that the first day of practice, she tore her Liz Frank, which is like for most people, a career-ending injury, and it's only recently that they've kind of figured out how to fuse some bones together to make it work.
Mm.
So, when it happened, we were all kind of like, all right, well, that's kind of weird because now she can actually go back to UNC.
Right. It was like the stars aligned.
Yeah, they did.
But
absolutely.
also they wanted it. They wanted to be together, which, I think is what everyone falls in love with.
Yeah. 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 I made it super special. I mean, it was a little tough because everyone has their role in the family hierarchy, and Nicole's trying to mother them and Ashley's screaming at them, coaching them and where to be. And Chloe doesn't want to hear it from anybody. So, I was on the phone a lot with them.
That's interesting.
Therapy of how we're all going to play together and make this work and smile. And
okay.
But they finally settled in.
What did you say? What did you find yourself saying to them in those tough times, tough moments?
I just really encouraged them to communicate well and not just get angry and not say anything, and come to me. I was like, tell her it's upsetting the way she's talking to you and that, or tell her that you don't want her input on your shooting because it gets in your head, or tell her, and we just kind of had to set the boundaries with each other as to what they were allowed to do and not do to each other,
Yeah.
Did you have like a family, like 5-way call, or was it just like everyone coming to you individually and you kind of working your magic with individual
we have a
conversations?
We have a chat where we're all in it.
Okay.
Where we can talk about lacrosse.
Okay.
But if we had to have sidebars about individual issues, they'd come to me for sure.
Okay. So it wasn't like a sit down of like, all right, listen, you stop doing this. You stop doing this. This is what, needs to happen here. It wasn't like a mom coaching session.
Well, I think there was we did have a few at family dinners, like,
Yeah.
okay, we're in this together. We got to work together. We got to support each other. You guys are sisters and friends come and go, and you guys are sisters for life, and don't, let this spoil anything.
I think that's really important to hear. Just,
Yeah.
It's not totally stuff that comes through on the page when you're just hearing about the glory of these girls coming back together. And I think it's really
like, of
important
course,
to hear
there were
there's
tough moments.
a humanity. Yes.
Yeah.
Of course. And that they all need their mom, they all
a referee anyway.
Exactly.
I may be repeating myself a little bit, but what would you say are like the top qualities that you tried to nurture in them as they were growing up, from when they were little girls, like apart from sports?
I just think hard work. It's like you can have as much natural athletic ability, but if you don't put in the work, not going to go anywhere. Same with if you're so smart. If you don't study, there's only so much you can do. So, you got to put in the time. There are no shortcuts.
Yeah. By the way, are Ashley and Nicole living together in the city, or did they get their own places?
They are. They're
They
living
are.
together, which means I have a pied-à-terre in the city, which is so nice.
So fun. Yeah, it must be really nice to have them close again.
It is. I'm in there every week, so it's really been fun.
Like just to hang out or to like talk business?
No, to hang out. We go out to dinner and then I stay over and then I come home, or a couple of us will go in. They have a lot of space in their apartment for people to stay, so it's been wonderful.
I love that they like want to hang out with you still as like adults.
I know. May we all be so lucky.
Yeah, may we.
Yeah.
Is there any other thing? I have like a little section here. There's the parenting work that no one sees. You and your husband have talked about this in some articles, and just like what's going on behind the scenes. Is there anything more? We've sort of touched on it here and there with various topics, but that you would say that you would want to highlight?
Like the underwater stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The one thing I'd like to touch on is nutrition, because especially for the girls who are all wanting to be skinny queens for their social media. And if you're going to be putting in all these hours and grinding and, getting in shape, like you've got to fuel your body. And I feel like we've had some stress issues because Chloe might skip her lunch before practice. And then, next thing you know, it's like, oh, my foot hurts. Oh, there's a stress reaction there. Or, it's like, you got to fuel your body. You got to give it protein. You got to give it carbs. You got to, so I think that's one thing for teenage girls that I would be really careful about. Mm-hmm. Make sure they're eating balanced meals if they're going to go exercise so much.
Yeah. If someone is so committed to lacrosse, though, or so committed to any sport, like you have to believe that they feel that, right? Like
but they don't have the knowledge as kids. I find that with my son who plays football, it's like, I'm like, you need to consume food so you don't get hurt. Like they don't, bizarrely, they don't make that. But they don't make that relation.
But like they want to perform. They want peak performance.
But they don't.
I don't think they realize that their bones can become compromised if you're not fueling properly.
Right. That's like the extra mental, like
it logical can't take the load.
Right.
And did you yourself already know what it meant for them to kind of fuel in the right way? I feel like I need to educate myself.
No, not really. I mean, I didn't really realize that. I never had any bone issues, so all of a sudden Chloe has a stress reaction in her back that took her out for a season. And then she had one in her foot that took her out for a season. And then she had, so we had to really double down and be like, let's dissect your diet. What's going on here? Okay. Why is this happening? We know she's a grinder, so she overworks always, So if you have a kid who really overworks, you got to watch that. So that was the one thing that I think went under the radar. I mean, we were good about like trying to eat clean, but I wasn't really focused on fueling them for bone support. You know what I mean?
Do you want to
do our lightning round?
Let's
all right. We got a couple questions for you.
Lightning round?
And then we'll let you go.
Okay.
Here you go. I'm going to start us off.
Yeah. What is the thing? I'm going to go deep in divey for the first one. What's the thing from your own childhood that you project onto your kids?
Probably setting high goals.
Because
you gotta dream big and you gotta go for it. Like you can't worry about failure.
did you not have that? Did you have a deficit of that, or that's how you grew up?
No, that's what I did.
Yeah.
That's what I did. My parents were big on that. Like, you can do anything. Whatever you can dream, go do it.
Yeah, just
super
work hard.
encouraging like that. So I think I'm a big advocate for whatever. When they mention something, I say, go for it. Go for it. What do you have to lose?
Yeah.
You don't get it.
Go big and go
Just do
hard.
it.
Fine.
Yeah.
So I definitely think I steer them to not be afraid of failure.
Okay. The thing you're laziest about as a parent and the thing you're most vigilant about as a parent. Like, is there something that you're like, whatever, that's fine?
Yeah, my house.
Yeah.
Yeah. We covered that.
Yeah.
Okay.
What am I on top of them about? Well, I would be on top of them. I was always strict with like curfews.
I like that.
I think they have to have boundaries. And theirs were always apparently earlier than everyone else's. I think my kids had a midnight. No, it's like 11:30 junior year, 12 o'clock senior year. And apparently I was the worst mom because of it.
Totally. I'm just kidding. That does seem a little rigid, but who am I to judge?
But look where it brought the girls.
But I did say, I just want to know where you are.
Yeah.
Like, you can come home with people at midnight.
Yes.
And go to the basement.
Come hang out
out
here.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just want them
But
under your
I
roof.
want to go to bed and I want to know where you are.
I like that. I'm going to adopt that.
Yeah. Just bring everybody back here.
Just bring it yep, totally.
Yeah.
Great.
I just didn't want them sneaking out and then I wouldn't know where they were. So
And
I was like,
Darien is like a driving community too. Like
Yeah.
Bronxville, where we live, is
It's very walkable.
Everywhere is walkable.
Yeah. But still, kids are stupid and get in cars when they shouldn't. And, everywhere.
Yeah.
All right. Last one.
Okay. If you could go back in time and give your brand new mom self 3 pieces of advice, what would those pieces of advice be?
I think I would have been more relaxed about summer lacrosse.
Okay.
Not that important. If you get a bad coach, whatever, not that big of a deal. Just find the silver lining of whatever you have and make it as enjoyable as possible, because it's a lot of lacrosse. And I just remember those summer tournaments making me want to put a gun to my head.
Oh my God. The hottest I've ever been is like on the sidelines of a lacrosse field in Hershey, Pennsylvania. It was like, wow, dark days.
Yeah, it can be bad.
Yeah.
So I would say be chill about summer. I think, what else? Don't listen to like the chatter of the other moms.
Oh yeah, I love that.
I already don't do that, so that's great.
Yeah. I touched on the jealousy of among the girls, but it's among the moms too, and it's easy to get caught up in that.
Oh, no one's jealous. We have the opposite problem.
It might be worse among moms.
Yeah. Oh, people are like jealous of you and your girls.
It's like,
no, that's not happening.
What program is your daughter in?
Right.
Blah blah blah.
Well, and Chloe got pulled up. So she would play a year ahead. So there would be a lot of chatter about whether Chloe should be there or not. And, and I think about it a lot now. I'm like, I hope people see all those people who are complaining about Chloe playing up.
What's up now?
How well she's done.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it wasn't just this coach being crazy.
No.
Which they tried to
it was not a favoritism thing.
She actually
deserved
it.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then what's the last one? I think it would be the nutrition that I should have been more aware.
It sounds like if you just have like a serious athlete, no matter what, like don't wait until something happens, but like get ahead of this and almost like bring them into the conversation, like have the nutritionist like be on their team, like just like a coach or, like a resource.
I also wish that I'd really
party.
Focused on better nutrition from when the kids were little. I was like, whatever, it'll work out. But you need to like instill that stuff in them when they're young. Otherwise, you have to play catch up.
Well,
I might be emailing you for your nutritionist.
No, but also just like about their goals. Like you want to be a really great athlete. You want to have no broken bones. You want to, whatever your goal is, like nutrition plays a really, key part in that.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah. Yes. You're so kind.
Thank you for
shared your time and wisdom.
Being so honest with us about all of this.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure.
I feel like my biggest takeaway is that whenever you talk to someone like Sarah, a parent who has not 1, not 2,
Not 3.
not 3,
but 4.
but 4 kids. Yeah. 3 who have done these really exceptional things. You want like a secret. You want kind of like
what's the sauce?
Yeah. Like, so just tell me how you did it.
Right.
And she kept coming back to the fact that it all comes down to hard work.
Right.
Like Chloe was out there, like at the wall, and her, it's just
like repetition, practice, no matter like that hard work and repetition, reps are more important than natural ability.
Right.
Which I think I've heard from a lot of different, I would call her an expert in this.
Yeah.
But a lot of experts in just across the board, not just sports, but it's like hard work is much more valuable than just natural gift.
Yeah.
I really liked what she said, and it was counterintuitive for me. So I love that when that happens, and I'm like, wait a second, I've been thinking about this all wrong. When you see a skill in your child, don't think, okay, well, you've got that skill. Now let's work on the skills you don't have. Like that would be my natural inclination.
Yeah.
But she's like, no, like be the best. Like if you have that skill, hone it and hone it and hone it until like no one can be better at you in that department, in that lane.
You're right. I love that.
You know
too.
what I mean? I just was like, okay.
Right.
Like you don't have to be mediocre or decent at everything. Just be the best at one thing.
Yeah. And that one thing doesn't have to be center stage. Right. At whatever, you're trying to accomplish.
And I love like how present she was as a mom to be able to recognize that each of her 3 daughters had something different to offer, a different ability, natural skill.
Yeah.
And that she knew that. Like, I don't really know what, I of course I know like the personalities of my kids, but I'm just like not that tapped into being able to train and condition, like whatever that one thing is.
Yeah.
Also, I think my other takeaway, big takeaway from this conversation was the nutrition point.
Oh, yeah.
And just how
you hear that more and more.
Yeah.
And coaches more and more are making it a part of
it has to be
the expectations,
Right. Well, thank you for getting her on. That was a big get.
I'm so grateful to her for saying yes. I sent her an email out of the blue. So it was really nice of her.
It just, restores faith in regular old email.
Yeah.
Regular old human kindness.
Yeah. By the way, she has an AOL email address, which I like too.
Which is so great.
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't have time to get a Gmail account.
No, she's raising champions.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. If you've gotten this far, we love you. We thank you. And we'll see you in the next round of Bare Naked Moms.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care.